Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am not in my regular location this morning, so I do ask that you bear with me. Give me a little bit of grace this morning as we try to get signed in to all of our social platforms. I am out and about today, so I am being a band camp mom today. So, hence, I am streaming live and trying to stay dry all at the same time. All at the same time. Again, welcome this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a wonderful day and opportunity that we have to be together and discuss the word of the Lord, sit at our Father's feet and hear what he has to say concerning us. And so as I have joined in, I just have a little funny story for this morning real quick as I'm getting everybody joined in on all these social platforms. So listen, I signed up to volunteer for my daughter to be a part of the band parents volunteering, right? So I'm a band mom. My daughter's on the drum line, and they needed parents to volunteer to assist the children today. And so, okay, I'm like, yeah, no problem. Volunteered last week to participate. I wake up this morning, um, storms just pouring, rain just coming down. So this is one of those things that I'm sorry. That's uh, that's my mom. Of course, whenever she logs in and she doesn't see me, she thinks she's doing something wrong. So again, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Um, and so I wake up, storms, just rain, rain, rain. Rain is pouring down, raining. And I'm like, oh, so I guess my volunteer shift today means I need to pack a poncho. I need to pack all these extra things that I hadn't planned on packing because I'm just volunteering for the day. Well, lo and behold, I'm doing a little bit more than volunteering. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. So, y'all pray for me today because I'm outside and I'll be outside shortly in all of the elements helping my daughter for my daughter's band. So, one of the things I want to share with y'all, please don't call me while we live because I can't answer the phone. That's my mom. I don't think she realizes that I use one of my phone to actually go live. So I can't answer her phone call. And she's probably looking for me because I am trying to get on Facebook, but it's not coming up this morning. So I'm not really sure what's happening there. However, but we are going to press on and prevail, and I will just post this video inside the Facebook group. So this morning, good morning, Tosh. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining again. I'm in a different location, not outside today, one, because we have torrential downpours, and I am not at home. I am on site at band camp today, volunteering for the band with all kind of things. So, Lord, I pray that the Lord can be an umbrella, okay? I'm not sure I'm going to be very helpful today because, rain and I don't mix. But anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. Let's see if I can log in. I'm going to try one other option to log into to see if I can get the Facebook to actually work. But it doesn't seem to be working this morning. So I'm just going to go ahead and get us started. So I don't want to belabor us along. We are in Getting Out of God's Way, a journey of surrender and obedience. And so if you have the book, we are on day 23. We are on day 23. Can you believe the days are flying by so fast? So we're on day 23. And today's topic is there is a way of escape, right? Today's topic of the text is hey, look at that, Facebook is working. There is a way of escape. And so we just want to make sure that as we are preparing to allow God to use us, that we hear what the Lord is saying. We are starting a conversation that we want God to finish. We are starting a conversation that we want the Lord to finish, right? So we are making sure that we listen in and hear what God has to say. Sorry, you all, I am trying to type. I know people say that you can do multiple things at once, but I'm finding the older I get, I have to focus one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And so because I'm not in my normal location, taking me a little bit longer, and because their internet was not really cooperating with me. Okay, wonderful. All right, so we have everybody on, hey, Instagram, hey, Facebook, and YouTube, and our Zoom group. So good morning, everybody. We are loading up all on one platform. I should say all in one Wi-Fi. So hopefully this works. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Again, my apologies for just being a little bit tardy, as I am remote today. So I am here with Lissy at band camp. I'm the volunteer mom for one of the volunteer parents for today. So as I want to come in and get us prepared for our Getting Out of God's Way, day 23, there is a way of escape. And our focus scripture for this morning is Corinthians 10, verses 13. Okay, Corinthians 10, verses 13. And it says, the temptations in your life are no different from what others experience. And God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, He will show you a way out so that you can endure. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. So we know that God always provides a way of escape. This particular text is explaining to us that we will be tempted. So we know a few things will be true, right? Just based on what we are reading here in this particular verse, right? We know that we will be tempted, right? But we also can bank on the fact that there will be a way of escape for us to get out of whatever we're being tempted by. And so one of the things that I was talking about when I shared this, when I started writing this book, now there's been lots of ways in which I've been tempted, and the Lord was providing ways of escape that I never took, right? I was like, yeah, I could probably do that, but this is more comfortable. This is what I prefer to do. And so sometimes we find that when the Lord provides a way of escape, we don't take it, right? We don't take it because it's not what we prefer. It's not what we want to do. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, and and so we just do what we prefer to do. We do what maybe we're comfortable with doing. We do what we're maybe accustomed to doing. We do what comes natural, but we don't always take the way of the escape that the Lord has provided, right? We don't always choose peace, over frustration. We don't always choose the better thing. We don't always do that. And so on today, one of the things that I want us to focus on is finding the way of escape, right? Finding the way of escape. When God provides us, he says he's providing us a way of escape when we are tempted. And so it is our job and it is our responsibility to then look for the way of escape. And so I'm going to share the small, it may seem small to you, but it was major to me, and it helped me to pivot in how I saw things. And Tosh, this is one of your favorite scriptures, so it also made me chuckle on that. But it says, one late night while on a video conference call, I was tempted to eat potato chips. Now, normally that is not a big deal. However, I made a promise to myself to no longer eat after 8 p.m. and reduce the intake of carbohydrates to ensure that my A1C levels did not enter the diabetic range. Good morning. And lo and behold, at 10 p.m., this chip desire was still tempting me. The Lord revealed to me earlier in the year that I needed to be a better steward of my body so I could walk out the plans God had predestined for my life. As I was about to get up, I heard a voice call out on the stream, God is not pleased with my overeating. All I could do was laugh because I knew at that moment that God was giving me an opportunity to find a way of escape. And if that was not enough, the facilitator said, find the way of escape. It has already been revealed that the temptations will come. and we have no control over that. What we do have control over is choosing to find a way of escape, because we have been told that God has been faithful, and one has been provided. And so one of the things that, again, we can talk about it all day, and we can go around about, hold on, it's just chips, that and the other thing. But it's actually it was bigger than the chips, right? It's about honoring the commitments that you make. It's about honoring what you tell God that you're going to do. It's about showing up in those difficult moments when you're having a moment of weakness. And again, when when a way of escape has been provided, are we taking it? And so I'm not gonna be in your business about what the Lord is asking you to do. Good morning, Diagi. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, Lady Lucy. Good morning, Betty. Uh, and so what I am going to do is I'm going to say this: there is something in your life that tempts you to be outside of what God is requiring of you, right? We're talking about surrender and obedience, right? We say we're getting out of God's way. This is a journey of surrender and obedience. So yes, I want to have chips at 10 o'clock at night because I'm comfortable with chips at 10 o'clock at night. However, I have to surrender my desire to have chips at night to be obedient to what God is asking me to do in regards to stewarding my body, right? Stewarding my body to the place where I don't have to be on diabetes medication. I don't have to, take these different types of medications. And so, because I am committing myself to be team vitamin and supplements, right? And now I'm shifting from vitamin and supplements to team, I get all my nutrients from my food. So I have to make different choices. I can't always eat what I feel tempted to eat, right? I can't always have the things that I desire to have when I desire to have them. And so it just means I have to steward a different area of my life. Now, sometimes our surrender or our finding a way of escape is not going off on somebody, right? So maybe food is not your thing, but maybe the good Lord is asking you to be better a steward of what you say, right? Or where you go, or how you live, or how you show up for Him. I don't know what that is for you, but what I am saying is there's an area of your life where you are tempted. And what God is asking of you on this day is for you to intentionally be very intentional about finding a way of escape. Sometimes in my life, I'm lured into having conversations that have absolutely nothing to do with me. So I have to find a way of escape. And so my daughter, yesterday, she sent me this meme of this lady. Of this lady sitting in her car, and she was like, people will find any way to get off of the phone. People in their car will find any way to get off the phone. So the lady was like, oh, I have to go. I think she said something like, I have to go. I need to check the flaps. The flaps on my car. I'll call you back. Right. So basically what my daughter is saying is, like, what she notices about me is that if you start going left in the conversation, I'll find any reason to get off the phone. It doesn't have to make sense, right? And so, I mean, even the lady was like, oh, I have to call you back because I need to twist the headlights on my car. And, just different facial expressions. So I'm just laughing, but I'm being very serious, right? Like, you have to find a way to get out of things that you're tempted by, right? So if you're saying, I'm gonna better steward my mouth, I'm gonna better steward my conversations, I'm gonna continue to be uplifting, then you may need to maneuver around getting out of conversations with people who try to draw you into conversations that you shouldn't be in, right? Or if you're trying to be a better steward of your weight, then maybe you don't need to hang out with the people who tempt you to eat stuff that you have no business, right? Or maybe if you're trying to be a better steward of reading your word early in the morning, maybe you have to be a little better steward of not staying up so late, right? So there's always a way of escape to be found. We just have to be intentional in looking for it. So as we are up this morning at 6, it's now 6:15, right? And again, we're starting a conversation that we want God to finish. So if you know, we always have an application which we're going to apply. And this is the other thing I want you to understand about a way of escape. You may need multiple ways of escape each day, right? So maybe in the morning you're challenged with one area, and in the afternoon you may be challenged with another area. Right now, I'm being challenged, right? I'm being challenged. Hey, Deshaun. Hey, preacher. Right now I'm being challenged, right, with showing up, right? So now if you all know me, I quit track and field because I didn't want to go outside in the rain, right? I quit track and field because you had to run in the rain. But now I am at my daughter's band camp, being a volunteer mother, and it's raining outside, pretty much pouring, right? So, hey, I'm I had my poncho, my rain boots. I brought everything that I could because I had to find a way out of trying to make an excuse of why I want to come because it's raining outside and I didn't sign up for the band, right? And so every moment that you have an opportunity to find a way of escape or doing something that you know is outside of the will of God for you, I know that the Lord wants me to show up for my daughter. I know that He wants me to show up and support her in ways that are tangible to her in the areas of things that she enjoys. I don't, I'm not into the band. I never played band, but she loves it. So my participating, I'm choosing to be a part of something that she enjoys. And so finding a way of escape sometimes means that the areas that we're more comfortable in, right? We have to sometimes get out of our patterns, get out of what we desire and allow God to use us in a different way, which means we have to stand up in those areas where we may sometimes shrink. And so our application for today, it says, where in your life are you currently being tempted? So we must first identify, where are we being tempted currently? What is your present area of temptation? So if are you being tempted in how you speak? Are you being tempted in how you think? Are you being tempted in what you say? Are you being tempted in the things that you do? Are you where are you being tempted? Are you being lured away from the word? Are you being tempted in how much social media you're intaking? Like, where are you being tempted? I don't need you to type it in no chats and all of that kind of stuff. This is a conversation that you're having with the Lord. So you're going to pray and ask God, where am I being tempted? Because sometimes we don't even realize where we're being tempted. And that's how the enemy gets an advantage, because we're not stewarding over the very area where we're weak. And it says, write down how your life would be better if you were able to find a way of escape. So if you were able to overcome the very thing that you're being tempted by, if you had a plan of what you need to do to escape the temptation in advance, right? How would your life be better? How would your life be better? What commitments and boundaries are you willing to put in place and honor to ensure you take the way of escape God has provided? See, now sometimes we know what we're tempted by, but we don't always make the commitments. We don't always set the boundaries. We don't always put the things in place that we need to put in place to make sure that we take the way of escape that's provided. And so, not too long ago, I was and encountered a person that knew me in college, and so um, one of the things he asked me was, he was like, "Do you still make all those crazy post-it notes?" And I started laughing because, again, you know me, when I was in college, I had all of these different reminders that I would post in various areas in my dormitory. Okay, see, now we haven't even had bugs on the inside. Lord have mercy. Listen, y'all just bear with me for a second, because this man mama thing, it's just taking it to a whole nother level. Okay, I'm out here trying not to get bit by bugs outside, and now we got bugs on the inside. See. Look. But anywho, back to what we were talking about. And so, but that was my way of escape. It was my reminder. It was my everyday notification that, hey, this is what you're saying that you're committed to, and this is what you need to stand up. That you need to be ever present for. And so, even if you need to do things like that, one of the things I was sharing with a friend of mine is putting pictures up around my house is something that I do as well. So one of the things I did here recently is because one of the areas that I'm tempted is treats. Like, I love sweets, treats, all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm like, hey, come on. And those of you who know me, I've been vegan, and then sometimes I have sugar-free snacks, but still, they're still snacks, they're still treats, they're still considered sweets. And so I put a picture of what I looked like 3 years ago on my fridge because I wasn't pleased with the way I looked 3 years ago. So it helps me to stay away from grabbing certain things that I know I shouldn't be eating at certain times, because I'm like, woo, I don't want to go back there. So what things do you need to put in place? What things will help you along the way, right? Is it small reminders? I wear reminder bracelets to remind me to keep my heart posture together. It's like certain things that I do as reminders of the promises that I'm making to God in that season of my life. Right. And so even now, as we're doing this journey of getting out of God's way, a journey of surrender and obedience, most people know I'm not an early morning person. So when the Lord said we was doing this at 6 a.m., I'm like, okay. And then not even just 6 a.m. once, but multiple times. I'm like, oh, okay. So there's certain things that I have to do in order to make sure that I find that way of escape at night so that I'm not up late. So today's prayer is, Heavenly Father, I have identified the following areas in my life where I am currently being tempted. And then I would suggest that you say those things out loud. Please forgive me for not seeking the way of escape sooner. And I am trusting that you will show me a way of escape. And I pray for the wisdom and the courage to take whichever way is provided in Jesus' name. Amen. And so sometimes it's just about us asking God for a way of escape. Sometimes it's us honoring God's way of escape. And then sometimes we have to ask other people to help hold us accountable for our way of escape. But whichever place that you find yourself in this morning, I just am encouraging you to make sure that you sit this morning with the Lord and ask for the way of escape, ask for the courage and the wisdom to find that way of escape. So I pray that this message will be a blessing to you. I pray that you will go forth and have a wonderful experience with the Lord this morning as you spend your time committed and community. Good morning. As you spend your time in conversation with God, listening, right? Because we do a lot of praying, but we don't do as much listening as we probably should. So as we are listening to hear from the Lord this morning, I pray that you will have a great morning. I do ask that y'all please pray for me because I know it's a very minor thing, but me and Rain don't get along and the bugs. So the Lord is testing me right now because I really want to go home. Like, bye, y'all. That's gonna be my way of escape. No, just jokes, just jokes. But I pray that you have a wonderful time in the Lord this morning. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, different day, 6 a.m. Getting out of God's way, a journey of surrender and obedience. Again, I am praying that those of you who are on this journey are really yielding yourself, yielding the things that you desire, surrendering what you prefer, right? A lot of this is about surrendering your preferences to be in alignment with what God's will is for you. And then being obedient to what God reveals. After God reveals it, then we need to then make the necessary steps to walk those things out. So God bless you this morning, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day, everybody. All right. Have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you all for joining. I greatly appreciate those of you who are on YouTube. Please make sure that you follow, that you like, that you subscribe, and share this message with someone who you can feel could benefit from it. We will continue on our journey on tomorrow, getting out of God's way, a journey of surrender and obedience. Have a blessed one.